Are you guys ready to dive into a film photography rabbit hole? Because that's what we're going to be doing in this video. This video is going to be about two very strange film stocks that, honestly, I don't have any clue about. The rabbit hole I've entered when researching for this video is crazy. No one really talks about these film stocks, nor have I seen many YouTube videos about them. They are Yashica Ruby 60s and Sapphire 70s, both 400 speed films that are made for C41. Normally, the explanation for a random film stock just appearing on the market is so-and-so company gets their hands on an undiscovered film stock that's been sitting in an abandoned hospital or military base. Then they decide to respool it and sell it off as a trippy experimental film stock. Something like Lomography Purple. It's just film that's been so expired that the colours have gone batshit wild, which can be pretty fun. But in this case, I didn't manage to find much information about what these film stocks were even supposed to look like. Their shady website just gives a vague description of reinforcing the retro tone of images and dynamic colours that render pleasing skin tones and balances highlights and shadows. Okay, their Instagram does have some sample images, and it appears that these pictures are supposed to look red and blue respectively, as stated in the names and the boxes. Like, you know, the vintage Hong Kong Wong Kar-wai look is probably what they're going for, or in this case his long-lost brother Kar-wai Wong. But I only got more confused as I did more research. There were Reddit threads claiming to have found what this film actually is. Apparently it's just this new emulsion called All World 400 and 500 that just released in 2022. And then some people say that their sample images are just digital pictures with film filters slapped onto them. Then there were allegations saying that this Yashica company isn't the real Yashica that we know and love. The Wikipedia page of the real Yashica doesn't make any mention of branching out into experimental film or whatever the hell they're doing now. It seems like these guys are a company that licensed the Yashica name and are just doing their thing now, I guess. I mean, their website literally has night vision goggles, what the hell, man. So yeah, I had a whole ass mystery conspiracy on my hands here. Is this new Yashica out to scam people? Do their film stocks even look like what they're supposed to? So yeah, since I have Ruby 60s and Sapphire 70s, there was only one thing to do, which was to shoot them and get to the bottom of what these film stocks are all about. Since these film stocks are all about that retro vibe, that's the kind of look that I'll be striving for in these pictures. Okay, when I saw the pictures for the first time, I was like, oh, alright, I guess this film stock isn't actually ISO 400, because just because it says ISO 400 on the box doesn't mean it actually performs well at ISO 400, and this is a perfect example. I always meter for the shadows so that my shots will come out nicely exposed, but in this case, everything still came out underexposed as hell. The shadows are pretty much crushed to black, and the grain, oh my god. To give them credit though, we do see the washed out blue look in these images, which is kinda the whole selling point, you know. It's nice. Look at this shot, which ended up coming out actually decently exposed. I love the composition and the gentle swirly bokeh on the edges. And yeah, the colours are really on point. The blue tones add that hit of nostalgia. As with ancient mystery respooled film, however, there are many QC issues that can exist. For instance, light leaks, which in this case occur on the edge of the images. The film could have been handled inappropriately, resulting in some premature exposure. I moved on to another location, which was a Brutalist warehouse building. And yeah, more light leaks and way more underexposure. These images are kinda cooked. I metered for the shadows too. It shouldn't be this bad, but it somehow is. This would have been a cool perspective shot if it actually turned out properly. This cityscape came out okay though, nice colours. Next stop, Marina 1, a really cool office/residential building downtown. The architecture for this place goes crazy, and I've been wanting to shoot it on film for a while now. I like this one. The people wandering around gives a sense of scale to the shot and to the building itself. Big architecture and megastructure is always amazing and fascinating to me. Of course, I had to test out the film stock at night, right? To test out the Kar-wai Wong vibes. So I hit Chinatown. And okay, it's nice. Grain and light leaks aside, the color palette is really quite special. It's different from Cine Still, which is a more green-blue, while we're seeing more purple blues with Sapphire 70s. This picture goes quite hard. The darkness illuminated by the basketball court in the middle. Well, okay, enough of Chinatown. I had one last frame on the Sapphire 70s, so I headed over to Marina Barrage where I'll be shooting it, and reloading the camera with Ruby 60s to shoot even more. This was the final shot, then I loaded in the second film roll and took an identical composition with identical exposure settings. And look at the difference between Sapphire 70s and Ruby 60s, bruh. Sapphire 70s is not ISO 400 film, man. Look at how much better exposed the Ruby 60s shot is. Although the Ruby 60s picture is still quite grainy, and also, wasn't it supposed to be ruby, like red? Because there isn't a trace of red to be found anywhere in the image. Looking at more pictures I took that night, Ruby 60s definitely looks better in terms of image quality, but they're not actually red as one might presume. Especially since Sapphire 70s did have the blue color palette. The colors of Ruby 60s doesn't exactly match up with the name. Let's try shooting it in the day. What shall we shoot? Well, more Brutalist architecture, of course. First, some interiors. It's giving liminal space core again, but less menacing and more peaceful. It isn't really the back rooms, more of the front rooms. The shots are nice, aside from the complete and utter lack of red. Like, come on man, Ruby 60s, Ruby 60s. Whatever, Brutalist architecture goes hard. Check out these shots that I managed to get from the top floor. They look good, but here we can see more QC issues with the film, this time manifesting itself in the form of weird scratches and stains on the emulsion. And this isn't just dust on the film when I scan it, because dust actually appears as bright spots because of the negative inversion, so black spots means that the emulsion isn't actually there, it's been scraped off. Moving exterior, I got some nice pictures of the building facade and damn, they're pretty good. You know what, the color palette, while not red, still looks definitely retro as hell. There's something about these faded colors. Look at the sky, it's gorgeous. Look at the shadow from the clock tower and the greens of the trees, it's beautiful. And check out this shot of the light ray coming in through the gap of the facade. And this one, a really surreal and atmospheric shot of these palm trees' shadows being cast on the translucent plastic shelter overhead. There's really something about these 1990s to 2000s brutalist architecture, the shapes, the geometry, the materials. Obviously it's nostalgic to me now, but there's so much personality which I love. It's like a parallel universe, an almost dystopian one. USSR core. Alan Walker core. I headed off to Science Center to finish off the roll, and the brutalist design language seems to have permeated this entire region of Singapore. The neighbouring buildings I walked past were all brutalist, and so is the Science Center itself. This place has been around for some time, so it's nostalgia for my generation. People my age have all definitely come here at some point in their lives, as like part of a school trip or something. So yeah, there's nostalgia, liminal space and brutalism all rolled into one. I made my way to the exterior and shot more brutalist facades. The satellite dish here is the icing on the cake. And yeah, the slanted walls, circular peephole windows, I love it. But to my great dismay, I ran out of film before I finished covering the whole area. Yeah, I've run out of film, which kinda sucks because there's more nice stuff to take around here. So just imagine the picture being taken, okay? And yeah, that's it. 2 rolls of mystery film shot and tested. Many thoughts. So honestly, I didn't really know what to expect coming into this project, and now that it's over, I don't really know how to conclude as well. I do like the colours of both film stocks, even though Ruby 60s isn't actually red, but it still looks retro. To give them credit, the sample images on their Instagram do indeed look pretty consistent to my testing. I guess the Ruby 60 shots never claimed to be actually red, but they kinda cheat by putting this picture of a giant red Japanese lantern and temple. The biggest issue is that the quality of these pictures is kinda ass. Sapphire 70s has got to be shot at ISO 200 or even 100, and Ruby 60s can be shot at 400, but do prepare yourself for some really rough grain. I wouldn't be confident overexposing these film stocks either because, you know, the dynamic range of expired film isn't exactly great, and the QC issues like light leaks, stains, scratches. Sapphire 70s had light leaks and Ruby 60s didn't have any light leaks, but it had the scratches and stains, which kinda checks out with these films being like expired films dug up from somewhere, or it could even be film from another manufacturer that had QC issues. The website says that they do have more film offerings besides just Ruby 60s and Sapphire 70s, including a generic looking 400 speed film, a 400 speed black and white film, Kodak Vision 3 250D, and even a golden 80s, which would have been nice for this video, but sadly I didn't manage to get my hands on it. To put it in context though, I paid like 19 USD for each of these film rolls, and considering that these are 24 exposure rolls, not 36, that's quite a lot of money actually. If you do the math, that's actually more expensive than Portra, which is good quality, expensive professional film. Personally, I'm trying to look for reliable film stock options that offer a different color palette that's more interesting and fun and experimental compared to the normal Portra or Gold or Color Plus or whatever else. I've had good experiences with Lomography's offerings, so I might do more testing and report back. For now, while this testing has been fun, I think the search for fun but reliable and affordable film will continue. But hopefully you guys could take something away from this experience. If you want to try it out, go ahead, it will be fun. They do claim that these film stocks are limited edition, so take from that what you will. But yeah, getting to shed some light on this off-brand Yashica has been interesting. Shooting Brutalist architecture on obscure film has been fun as well. I hope you guys enjoyed the shots and the yap. Thanks for watching. Peace.